What's going on, Jerome's? Happy Wednesday. The 2022 Viking season was an absolute fun magic carpet ride. And yeah, maybe the Vikings were a little bit over their skis at 13-4, wanting some more, winning all those close games, but eventually 7 out. That whole thing, right? But the 2022 season was a whole lot of fun, even though the entire time, all the haters and the losers, all the national media jabroni haircuts, and also a good portion of the Vikings fans were just this team isn't as good as the record says it is. Although I was told reliably, hey, when the Vikings were losing close games in 2021 and 2020, you are what your record says you are. That whole thing. But it's also the first time we actually heard point differential as a stat. Kind of funny, man. But either way, the Vikings are back in camp and back to business in 2023. But of course, the national media jabroni haircuts can't help themselves. So Bill Barnwell over at ESPN did up a piece predicting 4 NFL teams likely to decline in 2023. So there's a lot of words and blah, 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 blah. All I hear is the Vikings suck. That's it. So this is what he said about the Vikings. Record in 2022, 13-4. Point differential in 2022, -3. Oh, right there. The second line. 2022 record in games decided by 7 points or fewer, 9-0. And like I said, hey, when the Vikings were losing multiple games in 2020 and 2021 by a single score, that just means that they were poopy. That just means that they didn't have what it took to win. But the Vikings in 2022, they got after it, man. Winning those close games, you could call it luck, but eventually you just have to be like, I'm in awe of you. I am. Projected strength of schedule via ESPN's FPI, 15th toughest, whatever. That means it's the 17th easiest, sure. No sense in leaving the team everyone knew was coming until the end. You already know the story of the 2022 Vikings because it became part of the conversation surrounding the team, which I couldn't have imagined happening a decade ago. They went 9-0 in games decided by 7 points or fewer, and threw in a couple of wins by 8 points for good measure. No team in NFL history has ever gone undefeated while winning that many close games in the playoffs. Minnesota promptly lost a 1-score game to the Giants in the wildcard round, which, again, was much more on Ed Donashell and his defense, allowing 31 points and 431 yards to Daniel frickin' Jones versus what went on with Kirk Cousins. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Oh, but 4th and 8. Shouldn't have had to come down to 4th and 8. Again, not saying, just saying. Then he continued, the Vikings haven't conducted their business this offseason as if they're one of the best teams, which is no surprise given that they're one of the more analytically inclined fronts in the office. They've gotten younger, moving on from veterans Patrick Peterson, Eric Kendricks, Dalvin Cook, and Adam Thielen, while taking shots on the upside of free agents of Byron Murphy and Marcus Davenport. They decided against an extension for Kirk, yada, 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 yada. All right, so everyone points to the Vikings letting go of Kendricks and Patrick Peterson and also Diesel Dalvin going to the Browns for $14 million and also cutting Dalvin and cutting Adam Thielen. And everyone points to that as like, hey, the Vikings have given up. Show me a spot where the Vikings have gotten worse. Like, show me a spot on the team, like legitimately, where, hey, all these veterans who were potentially overpaid, potentially getting towards the end of their career, letting them go. Hey, when the Patriots do it, when Belichick does it, or when Andy Reid does it, it's like, oh, he's a genius. But when the Vikings do it, oh, they're just giving up. They're surrendering. Again, this offense was top 10 in the NFL last year. It's going to get better. This defense was 31st in the NFL last year. Obviously, it's going to get better under Brian Flores, and special teams is still going to be top dog. So, I understand that maybe the Vikings don't ring out 13 wins in this spot, but the whole regression of like, oh, they're going to come crash landing and go 6-11, ain't happening, man. The Vikings could go from 13-4 down to 11-6 or even 10-7 and still win the division. I'm not buying all the hype surrounding the Detroit Lions yet. And you know what? A lot of Lions fans aren't either, man. But I don't mind how the Viking schedule sets itself up. Yes, you got a tough game against the Eagles. Yes, you start off with the Chargers and the Chiefs early on in the schedule. That's perfectly fine. But also, you get at the Bears, at Packers out of the way early on in the season with good weather. The back end of the season, basically your only outdoor game is against the Bengals, which could be fair weather in December. So I ain't worried. I ain't worried about this at all. And again, They're going to harp on, it's like, well, the Vikings aren't going to win 13 games. Don't care. Do not care at all. Again, just take care of your division, and everything else will take care of itself. Again, the offense got better. The defense damn sure got better. So what do you want? Well, what more do you want? Also, Kirk Cousins gets poo-pooed on so much. Like, the fact that he operated and had tied the NFL record for most fourth quarter come from behind game-winning drives. The fact that he did that behind a poop offensive line, as well as one of the worst defenses, that should count for something. But I guess it doesn't. But your thoughts are our thoughts. ESPN's Grand Poobah Bill Barnwell predicts that the Vikings will regress in 2023. Gasp. Faint. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts and his thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Once worth of work. Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.